A very good morning, dear students. Hope all of you are well. Welcome to e-learning classes of Sacred Hearts of subject economics. Dear students, in the previous lecture, we have discussed about the topic globalization out of the chapter economic reforms since 1991. In this, we have discussed about the concept of globalization. Thereafter, the different policy strategies promoting globalization of Indian economy, such as increase in equity limit, partial convertibility, long term trade policy, reduction in tariffs, and withdrawal of quantitative restrictions. Along with this, we have discussed about the concept of outsourcing, as well as we have discussed the concept or the introduction of WTO, that is a World Trade Organization. Dear students, today we are just ending with the chapter with the topic that is an appraisal of LPG policy. That means today we are going to discuss in the deep the pros and cons of LPG policies in the Indian economy. So let's get started about the appraisal of the LPG policies. Initially, we will discuss with the good effects. The very first one is the vibrant economy. As soon as the LPG policies implemented in the economy, our economy become a vibrant economy in which the GDP, that means the gross domestic product increased to 8% per annum. Initially it was very low, but after the 1991 policy it increased to 8% per annum. Second, that is the stimulant to industrial production. With the effect of LPG policies, not only the GDP has increased, but the industrial production has increased to a remarkable step. And the IT industry also achieved the global recognition in the whole world. The next one is the check on fiscal deficit. If we talk about the situation before 1991, then it was the mounting fiscal deficit that was a serious threat, due to which the economic reforms of 1991 was implemented. Before LPG policies, it was as high as 8.5% of GDP. अगर हम 1991 की पॉलिसी से पहले की बात करें तो 8.5% of GDP क्या था, फिजिकल डेफिसिट था, बट नाउ इट इज़ रिड्यूस टू 3.5% of the GDP. Now the next one, that is fourth one, increase in foreign exchange reserve. Before 1991, one of the major reason behind the implementation of this policy was the reducing or shrinking amount of the foreign exchange reserve. Dear students, as a result of LPG policy, forex reserves of the country have now reached a comfortable level. Forex reserve, foreign exchange reserves होते हैं, उनको forex reserves बोलते हैं. Now they have reached to the comfortable level. That means we are in the condition to have the surplus amount of foreign exchange even after our imports. It enhances the economic confidence ऑफ द ग्लोबल इन्वेस्टर्स इन द इंडियन इकोनॉमी. इससे क्या होता है, जो ग्लोबल इन्वेस्टर्स हैं उनका जो कॉन्फिडेंस है वो बूस्टअप होता है. नेक्स्ट, दैट इज चेक ऑन इन्फ्लेशन. इनिशियली द इन्फ्लेशन रेट वॉज वेरी हाई. नाउ इन 2011, 12 और 13, 14 it was projected as 6 to 9% per annum, but in the year of 2021 and 22 it was estimated by Reserve Bank of India 4.1 to 4.4%. दैट मीन्स जैसे जैसे जीडीपी ग्रो करेगी, गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज के फ्लो के इंक्रीमेंट की वजह से जो इन्फ्लेशन का रेट है वो ग्रेजुअली कम हो रहा है. नेक्स्ट, कंज्यूमर सोवरिजिनिटी. ओवर द टाइम द कंज्यूमर सोवरिजिनिटी हैज़ ऑल्सो एक्सपेंडेड. और इसका एविडेंट क्या है, इसका एविडेंट ये है कि विद अ वेरी ईजी रीच वी कैन यूज़ द गुड्स इवन दोज हु आर नॉट द गुड्स विच आर नॉट प्रोड्यूस इन आर country. That means we used to purchase or use the goods that are produced in the rest of the world. So the consumers are having an ample amount of choices. Not only this, but now the producers are also considering the consumer choices and preferences. So all these are the positive points of the LPG policy. Now we will discuss about the bad effects of the negative points of the LPG policy. The first one is the neglect of agriculture. Before the 1991 policy, agriculture was one of the major economic activity in the economy. But during this session, जो जीडीपी है या जो एग्रीकल्चर है उसे क्या करा, बहुत ज़्यादा इग्नोर किया. द होल फोकस वॉज ऑन द सेकेंडरी एंड टर्शरी सेक्टर. Now agriculture was neglected, how we can say, because there was fall in investment, there was withdrawal of subsidies, जो subsidies थी उनको partially withdraw कर लिया, cut in the import duty of the agricultural products, rest of the world से भी agricultural products हमारी country में आने लग गए, shift in the cropping pattern, जो cropping pattern था वो भी क्या हो गया, shift हो गया, it promotes to commercialization. The second one, slow down in industrial growth. If we talk about the second consequence of the LPG policy, then it is the slowdown in industrial growth. As India has removed its quantitative and qualitative restrictions. इंडिया ने क्या किया, अपने क्वालिटेटिव क्वांटिटेटिव रिस्ट्रिक्शंस को रिमूव कर दिया. अब इससे क्या हुआ, देयर हैव बीन चीपर इम्पोर्ट्स ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल प्रोडक्ट. अब हमारी कंट्री में चीप अमाउंट पे, लेसर कॉस्ट पे इंडस्ट्रियल प्रोडक्ट्स क्या होने लग गए, इम्पोर्ट होने लग गए, जिससे कि जो डोमेस्टिक डिमांड थी, हमारी कंट्री के प्रोडक्ट्स की डिमांड थी, वो श्रैंक हो गई, वो डिक्रीज़ हुई. एंड एज अ रिजल्ट देयर वाज स्लो डाउन इन द इंडस्ट्रियल ग्रोथ. इंडस्ट्रियल ग्रोथ क्या हो गई, डिक्रीज़ हो गई या फिर स्लो हो गई. नेक्स्ट कॉन्सिक्वेंस इज द अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट. विद द एलपीजी पॉलिसीज़ हमारी कंट्री में फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट आया, फॉरेन टेक्नोलॉजी आई, and we all know about the foreign technology that it reduces the employment, it reduces the men involvement, and as a result a lot of people get unemployed or the extent of unemployment increased in the country. Next, disinvestment. Initially the disinvestment was done for the purpose of non-working PSUs, public sector undertakings, but later on what happened, it become one of the source for the government for managing its fiscal deficit. लेटर ऑन गवर्नमेंट ने क्या करा, अपने फिजिकल डेफिसिट को बैलेंस करने के लिए, को मैनेज करने के लिए क्या करने लग गई, जो गवर्नमेंट है वो डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट करने लग गई, अपनी वर्किंग पीएसयूज को भी सेल आउट करने लग गई. सो इट बिकम एन ऑप्शन, ईजी ऑप्शन फॉर द गवर्नमेंट, एंड विच इज़ अ नॉट अ गुड साइन. नेक्स्ट, फिजिकल पॉलिसी. Owing to the new economic policy, the fiscal policy of government has come over a severe stress. अगर fiscal policy की बात करें तो over the stress it was there. Government had reduced the tax rate. Government ने क्या किया था, जो tax rate से उनको reduce किया था ताकि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग tax pay करें, है ना, ईजिली टैक्स पे करें. बट इट वॉज नॉट लाइक दैट. लेकिन जैसा गवर्नमेंट ने सोचा था, एंटिसिपेट किया था, वैसा आउटपुट गवर्नमेंट को नहीं मिला. दैट मीन्स जो गवर्नमेंट की रेवेन्यूज थी वो कंपैरेटिवली इंक्रीज नहीं हुई, और गवर्नमेंट की फिजिकल पॉलिसी का जो प्रॉब्लमेटिक सिचुएशन था वो कंटिन्यू करता रहा. Next one is the lopsided growth process. Lopsided means that the stuff that is not balanced, जो balanced नहीं होता उसको lopsided बोलते हैं. So economic growth was there, but it was lopsided. That means it was basically associated with the one sector, and that was the service sector. किसके साथ एसोसिएटेड था, सर्विस सेक्टर के साथ था. इसका सबसे लीस्ट अमाउंट ऑफ फोकस था एग्रीकल्चर में, फिर थोड़ा बहुत था आपका इंडस्ट्रियल, दैट मीन सेकेंडरी में, एंड द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट फोकस वॉज ऑन द tertiary sector. So this is all about today, as well as about the chapter that we have discussed about the merits and demerits of the LPG policies. So this is all about today, and God bless you all.